Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator. Joining us is Bonsai Bermudez. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Muchas gracias.
It is such a pleasure to have you here. I'm glad that we are doing this. It's great to chat with you and to learn more about your organization. So let's actually kick this off with having you introduce yourself to our guests and letting them know a little bit about your background and experience.
Okay, let's do like a speed date over here, right? So yes, my name is Bonsai Bermudez. I have the honor to be the executive and artistic director of the Youth Empowerment Performance Project, the organization we are going to talk a little bit today. I always say, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, so that have informed, of course, who I am. Those are my roots. And I grew up in a farm, so surrounded by mountains and oceans and rivers. And nature has always been a very important part of my emotional and spiritual practice. Before doing what I'm doing now, I started in show business. So I developed an entire career in show business as a professional dancer and actor. And little by little, I moved to do more like social justice work. I'm still incorporating the arts as a of justice work and trauma healing work and community building and leadership building work through creative arts. And I think that's pretty much it. I am a Virgo, so proud to be a Virgo. And yeah, that's who I am.
Perfect, perfect.
Maybe pronouns. I would like to say that
Yeah, definitely.
I normally use female and male pronouns interchangeably and respectfully. I do not use sir and I do not use Mr.
Okay,
That's
perfect. Well, it is such a pleasure having you here, Bonsai. And let's talk about the Youth Empowerment Performance Project. You are the artistic director, executive and artistic director. How did you get into the Youth Empowerment Performance Project? And tell me a little bit about the work that YEPP does.
Actually, we had a site visit this morning, so I had the opportunity to talk a little bit about it. So I moved to Chicago, so the Youth Empowerment Performance Project, best known as YEPP. So YEPP, YEPP is located in Chicago, and I remember when I was completing my master's degree in clinical counseling, I was at that moment in Puerto Rico. So I was a student there at the University of Puerto Rico, and I really wanted to complete my internship at a place in a site that could challenge me as a queer femme identified person to do the kind of work that I was committed to do. And Chicago just, happened to be the city for me to move and explore that internship position. Meanwhile, I was doing that. I was working also in a full-time capacity at a youth organization that was providing services and support to Black and Brown, queer, trans, gender nonconforming young people experiencing homelessness. And during this time working with specific population, I guess I was like learning a lot. And one of the things that I was learning was that the ways that that organization was approaching trauma healing work wasn't necessarily what young people were aiming to have or aiming to experience. So looking at that gap and looking at that sort of, at that gap, I was like, if we create a space where young people can come and bring their own self-care practices, which most of them were very connected with the arts, such as like yoga and writing and singing and writing poems. I was like, I think we are able to get more into this trauma healing work so necessary of what they're looking for. So in my spare time, free time, I decided to bring a group of young people together and start like working on that like trauma healing creative work. And at some point in the process, we just decided to do a theatrical production together. And as a theater maker, you know, I was like also very excited to explore that possibility. So young people started to write their own scripts and devise their own sort of theatrical production. At the end of that process, we brought like different designers, you know, the set designers, the costume designers, the music designer to collaborate with that group of young people. And all together, we developed this theatrical production that actually this flyer in the middle out of these three in the back was the flyer of that production. It was called The Other Side of Hurt. And it was based on their true stories and their own like trauma healing journey during the process. And we debuted that theatrical production, and it was, you know, very successful, sold out all the shows. And that sort of like gave us an understanding like how like the huge need of spaces like that in Chicago for this specific population, but also having the community learning so much out of these theatrical production. Normally after the performances, we have almost like a talk back with the audience members and the cast members. So it wasn't just that theatrical production, but also the dialogue happening afterwards. So we also learned how meaningful that experience was for all people in the room. Short story, you know, I remember, you know, when the production ended, we had a huge dinner together to celebrate. And then, you know, after that, I was like, well, you know, I will see you at this organization I used to work. And they were like, but we should be having more rehearsals. And I was, more rehearsals? What does that mean, you know? So anyway, little by little, young people kept, you know, sort of protecting this space that we created. And then that moved to a second production, and that moved to a third production. That third production, Cindy Lauper invited us to travel to New York City as part of her advocacy work for, you know, young people experiencing homelessness. And in one of the events that, you know, she and her team coordinated, and we were able to perform, you know, these the third production Faces over here. And beautifully, we were like live streamed around the United States, and many people were able to experience the power of this production. And after that, we, you know, we kept growing. Now, young people started to identify new needs, you know, the needs of building leadership and giving back to the new generation of young people coming to the city that are experiencing homelessness. So little by little, we kept designing new curriculums, new programming, new services. And now we have an entire organization in our hands with you know, many people coming in to get this love and support that we have here for them.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. What do you have ongoing right now that you're working on at YEPP?
Yeah. So unfortunately, right, due to the pandemic, even though we kept operating our programs and services, of course, we have to sort of mold or tweak things to make sure we were able to provide the support. But when we reopened the space, young people were coming into the physical space with extreme complex needs, which the staff in place and the organization as a whole were not prepared to be able to sort of meet those needs and support young people through. So unfortunately, a couple of months after reopening the space, we had to do a collective pause, um,
Mm.
because, you know, these needs were so huge that I think we were causing a lot more harm than the work that we were aiming to provide. So we had to go back into these, organizational infrastructure and our policies and procedures, our um, practices, just to bring it to a place that were a lot more cohesive and a lot more comprehensive, to be able to reopen programs and services. So we are finally, after many months going through that revision and development process, we are finally hiring new staff and planning to open programs and services next year. So we are finally, in that phase of, this strategic planning.
Awesome, awesome. And looking forward to next year. What are you excited about to finally be back, finally be open, and finally, doing it again? Looking forward to next year. How excited are you?
Yeah, well, we are super excited. There's so many things happening at the same time. For example, we are aiming to move to a new location, to be able to then operate, all our programs and services in most, I guess, sustainable and capacity informed place. We need more space to operate, right? So we're excited for that. We are excited, of course, to reopen programs and services. March 1st is our 12th anniversary. We call it the YEPP anniversary. So we're excited to also celebrate our 12th year birthday. And I guess we're also excited to develop the new production, with the new cycle of the Healing Performance Program. The Healing Performance Program is a program that buys this theatrical production. So we're excited to finally, people have been asking, Bonsai, when is your next production? So we are finally in a place to bring that production or that program back, and of course, ending with a beautiful theatrical production for our community.
Of course, wonderful, wonderful. And when people come and they engage, when they come and they engage with the organization and they create something new and they do something new, what do you want them to walk away with? What feeling do you want them to walk away with after, being a part of a production by Youth Empowerment Performance Project?
That question first is making me cry,
Oh.
and tear up. Um, I think, the Healing Performance Program is designed for young people to find themselves,
Mm.
to be able to learn who they are and be able to manifest their dreams. So I am a strong believer that when an individual is able to transform, restore within, and be able to heal these traumas that have impacted them for, many years and continue impacting them in their future. I am a strong believer, and that is being taken care. People are able to unfold, that very covered up sort of beautiful sense of self. So I think the Healing Performance Program, once again, is designed for young people to find themselves. But meanwhile that is happening, we have a lot of support around it to not just manifest that healing, but also manifest, they can get housed, how they can engage in education efforts, or how to get employed, like those tangible things that can continue bringing those very necessary resources for them to continue manifesting their dreams, goals, and their hopes. At the end, yesterday, the first month, every month, we have a family dinner we bring, where we, graduates and former and current staff members and volunteers and interns, we all come together to have a family dinner, So I think not just for the Healing Performance Program, but just YEPP as a whole, we aim, to create a sense of family and a sense of community that we can exist in and be able to feel uplifted and feel, that we can exist, with our all colors, that's the takeaway.
Important. Yeah, that's so important. That is so, so important. Well, how can people support if they want to? How can people support? How can they reach out? How can they become involved? And how can they keep up with everything that you are doing?
Yeah, I would say, we still exist after 12 years because the generosity, love, and support of our community, as a grassroots organization, getting this support from community has been instrumental. So we have tons of ways people can engage with us. If folks go to our website, we say YEPP.com, and they can go to the Get Involved tab. It's a list of ways that people can engage with us, from providing family dinner. Some people love to cook for us and bring the food here. But also, for students that are looking for internships, we have an internship program here that they can engage in our work. Have a mutual aid effort called the Chicago Youth Mutual Aid, best known as SIMA. So they can bring donations for us to have them here at the space and be able to provide those to young people, how to coordinate donation drives, things like that. So it's a lot of ways, right, that people can engage with us and support our mission and vision to end queer youth homelessness in Chicago and beyond.
Awesome. And if they wanted to follow you on social media, how can they do that?
Yeah, I think in all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, if you type at We Say YEPP, WESAYYEPP, you can find us.
Perfect. Well, viewers, please check out the links in the description so that you can find out more information about YEPP. Bonsai, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure getting to chat with you, getting to learn more about the Youth Empowerment Performance Project, and please just thank you for the work that you are doing in our communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and yeah, let's continue working and building together.
Yes, looking forward to chatting with you more. Bye. Viewers, please follow Team Rayceen Productions on all forms of social media at Team Rayceen. Click around our YouTube channel and check out our other interviews, vlogs, forums, and more. And make sure while you're at it that you like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching.